5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 439 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Our work week has come to an end. And guys, it is literally the calm before the storm. And I'm not talking just figuratively, but literally, because we have an epic weekend ahead. Of course, we're down to the Final Four in the NFL. We've already talked about official best bets that I'll be sweating coming up on Sunday, but I'll give you an updated set of numbers, updated line moves, updated splits, updated rhythm and juice reel system matches. So we will go over once again final best bets for AFC and NFC championship games. We're also going to talk some college basketball today. Decent slate, like 25 games overall. I got 3 plays for you. I got a favorite. I got a couple dogs. So see if we can get 2 out of 3, which is always the goal. But when I meant literally the calm before the storm, I don't know where you guys are listening from. Hopefully you're somewhere, I don't know, somewhere warm, somewhere sunny. I'm coming to you from the outskirts of Boston, actually kind of closer to the New Hampshire border. And we are about to get absolutely pummeled with one of the biggest snowstorms. And again, you know, sometimes the weathermen and weather ladies, they hype up stuff and it doesn't always live up to it. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. More often than not, they get it right. I think you just kind of remember the times they get it wrong. But unless you've been living under a rock, you know that we are about to get hit with a massive snowstorm, not just for me in New England, but for a large portion of the Mid-Atlantic and even kind of the southern region across the country in America. So latest forecast for me is about 2 feet of snow. So dear God, please, I hope no power lines go down, or as I'm trying to watch the Patriots game or the Rams in Seattle game, I hope we don't lose any power here. But just want to wish everyone and make sure that you're safe. You know, make sure you're locked and loaded, ready to go, because me and the wife, we're going to head to Costco tonight, stock up. It's always funny. There's, you know, a bunch of different grocery stores around here, but every time there's a snowstorm, like if you're in New England like me, the shelves, just everything flies off the shelves and people get, it's like the apocalypse. You know, they're going to load up on a couple things. One, they get a ton of milk. Number 2, they get a lot of bread. And number 3, the joke that I always make is hard salami. So load up, get ready, get your shovels ready to go, and be safe and stay safe and stay warm out there. Because I know New England, you know, we're used to this, although they're saying this is going to be the biggest snowstorm in like 5 to 10 years. Again, 2 feet of snow is nothing to joke at. We already have about a foot of snow, so we're going to be buried here. But hopefully we can stay warm and watch these NFL games and cash a couple of bets this weekend. But I just want to say to everyone, like, who's down south, like I'm seeing, like, you know, Kentucky, like, you know, some of these states that, you know, I think the other one that is going to get hit is, I want to say, like, Tennessee. But there's going to be a portion of the country that's going to get hit really hard. So if you're down there, you know, be careful, be safe. You got relatives, check on them, and just tell them, don't leave the house. Get a bunch of, stock up on your snacks, and just prepare not to leave the house for about 24 hours, because I think it's going to start Sunday morning and go into Monday afternoon, I believe. So literally the calm before the storm for the championship games and the biggest snowstorm in quite a while. I did want to mention real quick, thank you to everyone who tuned in to the Rhythm Rundown last night. As always, myself, my buddy Kate Harper, we host that live Twitter stream for the Rhythm Rundown every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. So we went over a lot of prop bets last night, talked about both games, side total. So if you are new to Rhythm, or you hear me talk about all the time, you know, basically telling you how great they are to power this pod and all the system matches and predictions that we go over each day. Well, if you want to try Rhythm, all you got to do is download the app. It's RITHMM, and you can plug in START25 to get 25% off. With that being said, guys, before we dive in, posted another winning night last night, 2-1 plus 0.47 units. Had a great hit with Georgia State, getting it done. Got a little dicey at the end, but kid hit a huge 3 to give us a win there. And then also Portland State late night. They were kind of up big and it got close and they pulled away as well. Only loser was Elon. So we'll take a 2-1 plus 0.47 unit night any day of the week, and of course reinvest it into today. So we're going to start with college basketball. I got 3 plays for you, including an early game as well as an update here for the NFL, AFC, and NFC Championship game best bets. So let's waste no more time. Talk some college hoops. First bet on the board for me that I want to hit on is one of the most heavily bet games of the night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, a little bit early, so don't wait too long, and then hopefully see our team maybe leading in this one. That would be nice. But we have Indiana and Rutgers. So let's set the stage, talk splits, line moves, system matches, and I'll give you my play here. Now, Indiana comes in 12-7 on the year. However, they have lost 4 straight, just lost to Michigan 86-72. Did cover, though, as a 15.5-point road dog. Meanwhile, Rutgers, 9-10 on the year, but they have dropped 3 of their last 4. Just came up short against Iowa, 68-62, but they did cover as a 17.5-point road dog. So what have we seen across the board for this very heavily bet game on Fox Sports 1? So you'll be able to sweat it if you're interested. Well, this game opened with Indiana listed around a 7.5-point road favorite. And the public is expecting Indiana to get back on track. They view this as a get-right game. Yeah, Rutgers is at home, but they have a losing record. Indiana's a good team. They're in a funk. They'll get right tonight. They'll cruise and win by double digits. However, even though 68% of spread bets at DraftKings are laying it with the Hoosiers have not gone up from -7.5 to -8, -9. It's gone the other way. Despite the public hammering Indiana, we've seen this line fall toward Rutgers. So Rutgers only getting about a third of tickets, yet they went from +7.5 down to +6.5. So always take a step back. Ask yourself, okay, if public's hammering the Hoosiers, then why is the line dropping toward Rutgers? Why are the odds makers moving this number down to make it even easier for the public to cover when they're already playing Indiana to begin with? It tells me we have a classic reverse line move. That is when the betting line moves away from the popular side toward the unpopular side. Again, public Indiana, but line going to Rutgers. You also look at just a straight-up contrarian play. Rutgers only getting a third of tickets in one of the most heavily bet games of the night. Nationally televised game, Fox Sports 1. So even if you take away that really sharp RLM toward the Scarlet Knights, you're still just in a great fade the public spot here. Also, we look in the spot. If you're a conference home dog in which the line moves at least a half point in your favor, so that would match with Rutgers tonight. Those teams are 53-39 against the spread this season. That is a 58% cover rate with a 10% ROI. When I was looking at the stats for both these teams, one thing I noticed, big advantage here in the offensive rebound department. Hopefully that can lead to some putbacks, some extra possessions. But Rutgers ranks 82nd in the country. Indiana ranks 222nd. We have seen Rutgers play pretty well at home, 8-3 so far this year. Indiana is just 1-4 on the road. Lastly, our friends at Rhythm, they have Rutgers plus 6.1. So again, you missed the 7.5, 7. Those are not available anymore. It's down to 6.5. But maybe you'll still have a half-point edge here with Rhythm predicting closer to a 6-point game. And then, a little cherry on top here, by the way. I popped open the Juice Reel app and noticed a Robo Jackson best bet pick. So one of the 2 picks, official best bets that the AI model sends out every day at noon if you have downloaded Juice Reel, which if you haven't, you should do it now. One of the 2 best bets for tonight is Rutgers plus the points. So heavily bet game, public hammering Hoosiers, lines going to Rutgers. Give me Rutgers plus 6.5 and do it for Mr. Tony Soprano, who was a big Rutgers guy. Next, let's take a look at a low bet obscure sharp line move. This is game 306-593, 306-594, 7 o'clock tip-off between Chicago State and St. Francis. Now, right off the bat, can anyone name to me the mascots for these 2 teams? Again, what I always talk about is if you cannot name the mascots, like if we know, Kentucky's playing Duke, automatically, okay, the Wildcats versus the Blue Devils. Michigan, Ohio State, okay, Wolverines, Buckeyes. Anytime you cannot name the mascots for the team, that's typically a game that the public isn't interested in, doesn't care about, doesn't want to participate in. So, by the way, Chicago State are the Cougars, St. Francis are the Red Flash. Added obscure sharp line move. Low bet game. Public can't find this one on their app, but we're seeing a clear sharp position here. So going into it, we have Chicago State 2-17 on the year. Poor Chicago State. They've dropped 8 in a row. Just came up short against New Haven, 62-56. Lost outright as a 1.5-point home favorite. On the other hand, St. Francis 5-14, slightly better record, but they have played pretty well. They've won 3 of their last 5. Just edged Stonehill 63-61. won outright as a 1.5 point home dog. So what have we seen across the board here? Well, this game opens St. Francis listed as a very short 1.5 point home favorite. And again, public doesn't care about this matchup. It's extremely low bet. It's the added game, extra game, so recreational bettors can't even find on their app where to place this bet on this game. But here's the thing. Even though public doesn't care about this matchup, we can tell that sharps have taken a position because the line has moved towards St. Francis. St. Francis went from -1.5 up to -2.5. A lot of the 2.5s are juiced up towards St. Francis, -115. Looking like it may creep up here on game day up to -3. You look at the splits. At DraftKings, St. Francis, 74% of spread bets, but 87% of spread dollars. Circa, 42% of spread bets, 71% of spread dollars. So again, you might say, wow, that's a public play, like 74% of tickets. However, remember, even though 74% is technically a majority, if it's coming from a pooling from a bunch of tickets in a very low bet game, then it's probably more likely that those are pro bets who have targeted St. Francis and triggered that line move. So that's what I'm thinking. I am going St. Francis with this obscure sharp line move, but I did money line St. Francis. I would hate to see them win by 1 or 2 and you lose a 2.5. So I did get St. Francis -150 on the money line. Definitely shop around. I believe that was maybe Caesars. A couple other books are -155, -160. But again, want to protect myself on the off chance that they just win the game and don't cover. St. Francis has a couple advantages that jumped out to me. One, better effective field goal percentage. 330th might sound terrible, but Chicago State is 360th. And better three-point shooting. 205th, 205th versus 296th. St. Francis is 4-4 at home. Chicago State 1-12 on the road. We do have a rhythm recommendation here. St. Francis should be around -2.8 or -3. And oh, by the way, pop open juice reel, 42% sharp mush edge on the St. Francis money line. So a big majority of wise guys or wise gals who have downloaded juice reel, synced up their books, they're also money lining St. Francis. So I'm going with the red flash on the money line, -150. Let's go St. Francis. Last bet of the night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's go to the American Athletic Conference. We have Tulane visiting Charlotte. Now, Tulane comes in 12-7 on the year. However, they have dropped 3 straight. Just came up short against FAU 79-74, but they did cover as a 10.5 point road dog. Meanwhile, Charlotte 10-9 on the year. They've won 4 of their last 5, playing pretty well. Just held off East Carolina 73-70, won outright as a 1.5 point road dog. So what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened Charlotte listed around a 4.5 point home favorite, and the public doesn't know what to do. Charlotte is hot, and they're at home. It's a short number, but also Tulane is getting points, and they have the better record. So public has no idea. Should I take the points? Should I lay the points? They're split right down the middle. But what do we always talk about? Anytime you have a 50-50 ticket count, okay, throw away contrarian value. There's no public bias, lopsided in one direction, so there's no contrarian opportunity there. But here's the thing. 50-50, theoretically in a vacuum, if the tickets are split, you really shouldn't see the line move at all, because you would assume if the action's equal, the odds makers have no reason to adjust the number up or down. However, if the tickets are 50-50, yet you see a line move, that gets me excited, because that tells me that even though the public may not know which direction to go, wise guys have taken a position. And it looks pretty clear here, they're taking Tulane in the points, because even though it's 50-50 at DraftKings, in terms of the tickets, again, this 50-50 line moves are always based on tickets, not money. The raw ticket count. But even though it's 50-50, this line has moved toward Tulane, +4.5, down to +3.5. Also, if you look at the juice, a lot of the juice is on the Tulane side, +3.5, -115. Like, it may get down to 3. DraftKings only 51% spread bets, technically, or to be exact, but 60% of spread dollars are on Tulane. At Circa, 67% of spread bets, but 99% of spread dollars on Tulane. So especially out in Vegas, those wise guys in the desert, big sharp split there toward the green wave. I noticed some advantages for Tulane. Better free throw shooting, 33rd in the country versus 213th for Charlotte. Better defensive efficiency, 215th versus 271st. They forced more turnovers when they're on defense, 123rd versus 297th. And they take better care of the ball. They rank 65th in turnover percentage committed, versus 234th for Charlotte. Lastly, when you look at two teams in the American Conference facing off in conference play, the road dog this year has gone 15-10 against the spread, 60%, 14% ROI. So public doesn't know what to do, 50-50, but the line's dropping toward Tulane. So I took Tulane plus 3.5. I did notice a Green Star Rhythm recommended play where it looks like Tulane should just be plus 2.5. So a little 1 point edge there, which is nice. And then also our friends at Juice Reel, 14% sharp mush edge. So that is great to see. So long story short, taking the points. How about you win the damn game outright, Tulane? Wouldn't that be nice? Or at least lose by 3 or less. So Rutgers plus the points, St. Francis money line, Tulane plus the points. Let's see if we can get 2 out of 3 as we steam into a very snowy and big snowstorm weekend. Now, you know my plays, probably if you're a daily listener to the ASG pod, or if you signed up to get the All Systems Go Best Bets from the Juice Reel tab under the picks page. But let's reiterate, because there's been a little bit of movement. We've seen some little bit of an adjustment here in a couple of these games as we go into the weekend. I want to make sure you know exactly where I stand for 2 of the biggest games of the year. And then we got 2 weeks and it'll be the Super Bowl. So, first off, Patriots, Broncos. Now, this line has been all over the place, but really what's very clear to me right now is that this line is dropping back toward the Broncos. Remember, before Bo Nix got hurt and we thought it would be, Nix, Denver hosting the Patriots, a lot of look-ahead lines were like Denver -3, -3.5. Once Bo Nix was out and Stidham was announced the starter, we saw this line completely flip to like Patriots -6, as high as -6, -5.5. So I talked about this with my buddy Patrick Maher last night on VSiN Live tonight on Sirius XM, but that is just a massive adjustment. And shout out to my buddy Ben Fox, who used to work with me. We used to work together at VSiN. But he talked to some bookmakers, and prior to the season, there is, of course, a number ascribed to all the quarterbacks. So the difference between Bo Nix and Stidham was like 3.85 points. We've seen an adjustment here, -3, 3.5 to like +6 of like 8 or 9 points. So public saying Drake May all day. Denver, I want to bet against Stidham. Again, kind of a complete unknown. He hasn't played in like 3 years. But that's an over adjustment. And how do I know that? Because once it got to Pat's -6 down to 5.5, then we've now seen it get down to 4.5. And if we look at the juice on some of these books, they're juicing up at least a couple +4.5. Denver -115. So who knows? Maybe even gets down to 4 here. Now, the other angle is that the Patriots are a huge popular play. So I want to go against that popularity and take Denver as just a straight up contrarian play. We also have those playoff home dogs since 2017. They are 3-1 ATS this year, 12-3 ATS since 2017. We also have a playoff dog with a line move, as this is down to 4.5. Those teams are 66% ATS since 2017. We also have a dog low total of 42.5, although it did tick up a little bit, 41 to 42.5, which was interesting because you would think Knicks to Stidham it would be less offense. So that's kind of maybe a sneaky little over move there. But also just the fact of, this is Drake May's first ever game in Colorado in the altitude, and Denver's got a good defense and home field advantage. So if you want to tease Denver up 4.5 to 10.5, that is a pretty good Wong teaser going through 7 and 10. But hopefully you guys listened to the pod earlier this week or saw the best bet on Juice Reel, because I got the Broncos +5.5, and I am loving that this line is down to 4.5. If you want to play it now, 4.5 is your best number. I did notice Rhythm has 3 recommended plays, including 1 green star on Denver, saying they should be +3.5, +3, or +3.8. So like a point or 1.5 edge off of the betting market. And also a 15% sharp mush edge in favor of the Broncos from our friends at Juice Reel. So everyone's playing Patriots, but maybe an over adjustment. The line's coming back down to Denver, even though everyone's pounding New England. Guys, I'm a Pats fan. Hopefully proved it to you. We played them last week, -3 against the Texans. I'm going to bet against them this week and take Denver in the points. Now, I'm going to get greedy and cross my fingers. Can my Patriots win, but win by 4 or less? A 3-point Pats win would be just a perfect outcome for a Patriots fan who's betting against the Patriots. this weekend. But love Broncos plus 5.5, now down to 4.5. Second game, mentioned it yesterday. Very lopsided once again, 80% of spread bets on Seattle. But Seattle was opening basically minus 2.5, and they're still minus 2.5. So why aren't the Seahawks up to minus 3 if everyone and their mother is betting Seattle? And 80%, that is a very lopsided postseason game. I was holding out for a 3, but as I'm looking at the juice, it's not minus 2.5 Seattle like it's going up to 3, like minus 2.5, minus 115. A lot of books are juicing up the Rams side, plus 2.5, minus 115. So maybe we even close at 2. So automatically, I want to go against the public love for the Seahawks and take the Rams, only getting 20% of tickets. I love that Sean McVay in the spot, 58% ATS as a dog, 6-2 ATS in the postseason as a dog. You'd also be a short playoff dog, 3 or less. You would also be a 4 o'clock late window playoff game dog, which are 60% ATS since since 2017. But I was saying to myself, okay, I want the 3, but I don't think it's coming. So I did buy this up to 3. I got a book that, and I still see one book that is actually juiced pretty down in favor of the Rams. Yesterday it was plus 2.5, plus 100, and I bought it up to plus 3 at minus 125. Looks like your lowest juice now is now BetMGM plus 2.5, minus 105. I don't really want to go much further than minus 125, minus 130, okay. But again, I think it's super important. Like, think of it this way. If everyone's playing Seattle, why aren't the odds makers giving out a plus 3? That tells me it's very, very important. So that's why I want to get the plus 3. So I would recommend buying it up. Again, minus 130 or less. That's about as high as I want to go. But this will make you even more excited to sweat the Rams. Aside from being a divisional dog, which we like, Rhythm has Rams plus 1, minus 0.1, and minus 0.3. So you're literally getting, 2.5 or 3 when Rhythm says maybe the Rams should actually be favored in this spot. And then lastly, there is a 10% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel on the Rams. So I bought the Rams up to 3, and I got Broncos 5.5, 4.5 is now your best price. Let's try to get at least one of these. If we could get both, man, that'll be a pretty awesome Sunday snowstorm. So that about does it. Wrapping up the final pod of the week, episode 439 of the ASG Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we, again, leave you with the final thoughts and leave you with a couple ideas. So the first one is always a thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for grinding in the arena with me every single day through the ups and the downs, the good days, the bad days, the hot streaks, the cold streaks. When everything's going our way or nothing's going our way, we wake up every morning with a positive outlook and trying to make sharp bets with our head and not our heart. So thank you for listening and supporting the pod. If you wouldn't mind, could you please give this podcast a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes? All you got to do is click the 5 stars. It goes a long way. As well as if you're so inclined, leave a nice comment under the review section. Click the follow button. Or maybe you could retweet the pod when I tweet it out every afternoon. That would be great. And you can also recommend the pod to a friend, as word of mouth always, means a little bit more if you hear it from someone that you respect. Next, have you enjoyed the data-driven insights? Has the data-driven model helped you, hopefully, to provide a blueprint how to attack the betting market? Well, if you enjoy the data-driven insights, you want to learn more about data-driven betting, or you have someone in your life who could use some data-driven tips or wants to get into betting and really doesn't know how, if any of that is the case, I would love for you to go to Amazon.com, type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook, and I'll let you guys know it's a good time to buy it because I got championship game systems and I got a ton, like almost a full chapter on how to bet the Super Bowl and prop bets. So it might be a good time to grab it and get yourself ready to study up for the Super Bowl, which is only a couple weeks away. I also wrote a book called The Everything Guide to Sports Betting. So if you wanted to grab that on Amazon, I'd also appreciate that. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a nice comment if you wish. And also bring those books to the sports book. I'll sign them for you. I'll buy a beer or ginger ale. We'll sweat some championship games together this weekend. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? My 2 favorite sports betting apps. They help me win. They're going to help you win. So Rhythm for their awesome AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props, as well as Juice Reel, where you can sign up to throw a $5 bill in the tip jar and get the All Systems Go official best bets from Juice Reel. And that costs $4.99 a week. Again, I consider it a tip jar. This podcast is free. Hopefully I've helped you cash a few tickets. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Go sign up to get those best bet picks. But also, not only are you supporting the pod, tipping your podcast host, but you're getting the plays earlier in the day and hopefully beating some closing lines. You're also going to get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, the Sharp Mush indicators, the arbitrage plays, the shop for the best line futures, all when you download Juice Reel. So download Rhythm, download Juice Reel, give them a 5-star review in the App Store. Next, do you have a live odds page? Well, if you don't have one, you need one. And you don't know you need it unless you don't have it, and then you get one and you're like, wow, how did I ever bet on sports without it? You got to be able to track the market in real time. If you buy like stocks, you need an E-Trade account to track all the stocks. Well, you know what? If you're a sports bettor, you got to be able to track the betting market. It gives you all the games to bet on that day, live scoring, live in-game wagering odds. Gives you the opening column that never changes, along with all the current odds to the right. You can shop around, see which direction the line has moved, get the best price, identify steam, pull up the line history, all available when you give a shot to Odds Logic. Odds Logic is the best live odds page around. I'm a very proud Odds Logic affiliate. So if you want to use this link, just go to oddslogic.com/Josh123, and that'll give you a 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month. Next, Novig. Do you know what Novig is? You might have heard me say it before. It's a betting exchange, not a sports book. So you're going to get way better juice prices because you're betting peer-to-peer against other bettors and not the house. So instead of laying minus 115, minus 120, you're laying far better prices. Minus 105, plus 102, minus 106. That means you can win at the same rate, exact same win rate, but make more money on an exchange versus sportsbook because you're risking less juice, which means when you bet to risk versus win, you're going to get more on the back end. So for example, I'm looking at Patriots Broncos. You can get Patriots minus 4.5 at plus 109, or Broncos plus 4.5 at minus 113, Rams plus 2.5 minus 104, Seattle minus 2.5 minus 103. So far better juice prices. You look at the totals. Pats Broncos over 42.5 minus 110, under 42.5 plus 105. Rams Seattle total over 46.5 minus 104, under 46.5 plus 100. You're going to get better prices with Novig. So download Novig, give them a 5-star review in the App Store. But when you download Novig and fund your account, there's a little promo code. Put in Josh123. It'll tack on an extra $25 for you. So that about does it for episode 439 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Pod powered by Rhythm. As always, guys, 2 final thoughts. One, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, the Nash in my neck of the woods on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We're out in the desert where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays, jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa. Wherever it may be, you're going to walk up to me, show me a Georgia State ticket and a Portland State ticket. First one's on me, next one's on you. We'll post about the book and sweat some college hoops and sweat some NFL on Sunday. So as always, guys, coming off a 2-1 or a 1-2, a 3-0 or an 0-3, a 2-day winning streak, a 2-day losing streak, whether we're hot or cold, we just got to stick to the system. That's why I called this. I was trying to figure out when I kind of went solo and launched this podcast. I'm like, what's going to be the name of the pod? Well, All Systems Go kind of has a cool ring to it because this is system-based betting, looking for matches, respecting the market. If you again, I almost lost my train of thought there. But again, what I want to say was we just got to stick to that system. Find games that fit our model against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet, avoid parlays, and get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful bettors. So hope everyone has a great Friday night. Have an even better weekend. Stay safe out there. The snowstorm is no joke. And the biggest thing you can do when snowstorms hit is just stay at home. It's super important. It's hard for these plow guys and everyone to keep the roads clear. They don't need your idiot ass, pardon my French, getting stuck and having to bail you out. Just stay home. Get some food, binge some Netflix, and stay off the roads. And hopefully we can cash some tickets while we're at it. I will mention, too, no pod over the weekend, but I will have Sharp Reports over this weekend. So I know college basketball, it's a huge Saturday tomorrow. So look out for 3 college basketball plays for tomorrow. But either way, guys, have a fantastic Friday, even better weekend. Stay safe out there. And I will see you back on Monday as I'll be shoveling 24/7. Looking forward to that. I guess it's some decent exercise. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you back on Monday for episode 440 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great weekend.